Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fridays at 5. I'm Karen Taylor of the Color Vowel chart. We're here every Friday, and this is the last Friday of the calendar year. And I thought we should do something special. This dream came to me about 3.5 days ago. So I put it out in an email to folks, and you have responded, and I'm thrilled. We're going to have a chant fest, or a chant, what did I call it? A chant showcase. I thought gallery, showcase. Yeah. So I'm thrilled because we've got a nice lineup, including one virtual guest. Liz Bigler will be joining us virtually. This is virtually on top of virtually, right? She'll be joining us via video that she's recorded for us. And I have a special guest here in the room with me as well, also an educator. So I'll be turning it a little bit so she can see and say hi, Kristen.
Hi,
Kristen's
everybody.
over here. Hello. Yeah. So we have all kinds of craziness going on. We recently potted up with my daughter's best friend, so we now have social life at home. So we're thrilled to have another educator in the room. So we're going to start off just with why chants work again. 3 reasons. Can we just come from the group? Why do chants serve an important purpose in an ESL classroom?
Musicality.
Physicality, which does what?
It takes it from the Broca side of the brain to the other side of the brain.
You got it, Kathy. That's right. So we want to be taking a big departure from Broca's area, sweeping over to other parts of the brain. So if you're making it physical and moving with the chant, you're now activating this other part of the brain. Another?
Teaches English rhythm. Is that?
Yeah. You want to elaborate, Joan?
Well, we have stress and unstress through our words and our sentences. And so a lot of these chants, they sound almost like English. They just sound like we just added a little music and interest to them. So, but if you say them normally, you're like, oh yeah, it does sound like a little bit like a chant. So.
Yeah, exactly. So we're looking for finding the music that naturally occurs in spoken English, not dressing spoken English up as a song or as a chanty chant. And we spent some time last night sort of exploring that, right, in our chants workshop. That was a lot of fun, finding that fine line between spoken English and when it becomes sticky and chanty. Great. A third idea as to why we want to use this in our classroom.
Repetition occurs to me.
Can you say that again, Richard?
Repetition. Well done. I got it.
So tell us more about that.
Well, it's a natural way and a fun way to give lots of structured practice repeated to the same spoken English.
Mm-hmm.
So students enjoy repeating instead of being bored by repetition.
Yeah, and I think, if we think back to audiolingual methods, who was raised hearing about audiolingual or doing audiolingual? Anybody? Right. Audiolingual was a method, the Army method, and involved a lot of listen and repeat, even of sounds or phrases that you didn't know the meaning of. And I haven't really gotten to see that in action, but I have a feeling that it might have been monotonous if it wasn't done with a bit of a twist. So we're always looking for sticky. So today we're going to look for the sticky in everything we do. Mm-hmm. And I thought I'd just start with something that got in my mind last night when I was prepping for the class that we had. And I'm referring a lot to our level 2 chants workshop because we just wrapped up. Who was in that, or who has been in that? A lot of folks, yeah? So we have folks coming who are going to share things today. But the phrase that came into my mind was, can I ask a question? 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 What's the song?
Can I ask?
Can I ask a question? Ba 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 bum. Ba 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 bum bum. Can I ask a question? Is it still speech? Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. I just changed keys, but I'm just speaking. Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? So every time I go back to the speech side of my brain, the musical part of my brain feels like all I did was change keys. And the speech part of my brain says, no, I'm just speaking. But if I can make that sticky experience available to learners, they can start to get that as an earworm and then walk out and pull it right out of their pocket when they're ready. Can I ask a question? Everybody try that. We're just going to go around the room, and we have, we'll probably have people joining us, but can we try the numbering thing? Because it does work for chanting, doesn't it? Yeah. And I want to thank, if Lynn Swanda's going to be watching this session, I think she kind of gave us this idea. So here in Zoom, I'll be 0. Okay. And Jennifer, you're 1. We're going to go in and rename ourselves. So you're going to find those 3 dots in the upper right corner. And when I give you your number, just put that number at the beginning of your name, and then we'll have our numbers. So Jennifer's 1, Skip, you're 2, Kathy, you're 3, Richard, you're 4, Suzanne, you're 5, Jeannie, you're 6, and welcome, Jeannie. It's good to see you. Joan, you're 7. It's good to see you too, Joan. Doug, you're 8. Natalia, you're 9. Now is 10. Helen, you're 11. Okay, Dawn is 12. Gabriela is 13. Flora, you're 14. And then anyone else who comes, Jennifer might chat them, and let them know about a number, 15 and onward. Okay, so we just keep it going like this, and it'll be a little bit of a lag, but I think you can do this. When I go, then it's Jennifer's turn. When she goes, then it's Skip's turn, etc. Right? Hi, Bob. Good to see you. You can do it.
Helping me get my number 3.
I don't know how to put a number in there.
And I don't
Oh, I can. You know what, Jennifer? I think, or I can rename you. What's your number?
3.
3. I'm going to just put you right in there along, and I'll take Robert's name and change that to Kathy. There we go.
Thanks.
Renamed. All right. There you go, Kathy. Thanks for saying something.
Thank you.
All right. Can I ask a question? 3 times. Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Go, Jennifer.
Oh, I'm renaming Robin.
Oh, my
Sorry.
All right, Skip, you're next. And let's go just twice, because I can see this is going to take more time than I want. So here I go. 2 times for me.
Skip me.
Can
Go
I ask
to
a
Skip.
question? Yep. Can I ask a question?
Who's next?
Skip.
Skip. That's what.
Want me to go more slowly?
Sorry.
I'm kind of hyper, so I'm going to go more slowly. We're just going to pass it and keep the rhythm going, okay?
Ask a question.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Everybody, hands.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
That worked.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Robin.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
And I think Flora might be listening, so she's going to be the observer on this one. Hey, nicely done, everybody. So I sent it around the room. That's a bit of how I work it out online when I'm teaching on Zoom, since we're not doing choral work in person. Yeah. Any thoughts or additions to that? We have a nice, yeah.
I noticed differences in linking. So some people say, can I ask a question? And some people said, can I ask a question? I ask. And it was interesting to notice the difference.
Can I ask a question? Yeah, I like a little glottal there to push it. Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Then you could get more emphatic on some things like, give me a break here so I can ask one. Good. Well, we have a nice lineup tonight, and I'm going to.
Dawn has a question.
Oh, sure.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, we prepped you for that. Well done.
As a participant, I had a hard time knowing who was next. It might help as a teacher just to have little number cards that you flip through or something.
That's a great idea. That's exactly right. Because then you don't have to look at the windows to see the numbers.
Right.
I just stared at Helen to see, because I knew I was after her. And that was kind of, so I was focused on that.
Okay, that's a really good idea. I love that. And I just need to make my little set of cards. So I'm there. Yay. Beautiful. If you are not on the list I'm about to show you, I want you to add your name in the chat. So here's our lineup. I did it like a coffee house or like an open mic night. And sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and switch well, that's good enough. So we've got Richard up. You okay with that, Richard? Your second
Sure.
up. Joan.
Sure.
Now, by then I should have the video that Liz gave me all set to go. Gabi and Jennifer is going to finish up with a little bit of a working session that she's prepared for you. So that's the cherry on top. And we have lots of treats in between now and then, okay? So with no further ado, I'll be watching the chat and we may have to do this regularly, right? Because I think this is gonna be super fun.
What
So,
you want us to put in chat? I didn't understand what you wanted us to put in chat.
Oh, if you are dying to lead a chant and you have one that you're gonna, lead, I think we might have a full docket, but I'd like to know if you're interested. So that
I do not.
Okay, she does not. All right, but if you do, you can let us know. Okay, great. Richard, can I hand it over to you?
Sure, you can. I'm just going to try to figure out how to look at my chant at the same time.
Right.
Because I have it written on a Google slide and I'm just trying to find that.
Sure, as you figure that out,
I just did.
Oh,
But go ahead.
And there you go. Yeah. I was going to say that last night we had a good discussion about how important it is to present a chant orally first.
Right.
If we get it in print, it immediately gets really squirrely. Everybody.
I just needed to make sure I didn't forget it.
Wonderful. Share away.
Okay, so this is a chant that I'm working on right now for a textbook I'm writing for the country of Timor-Leste, grade 7, beginning English. It's I think it's in unit 2 or 3. They've been working, theory, background knowledge is that they're working on ing, converting that. And so it's called, What Are You Doing? I'll just do it first and then I'll teach it to you. What are you doing? Sit. Sitting. We're sitting on a bench. What are you doing? We're sitting on a bench. And then we do it several times. And it can be with other ones like, what are you doing? Sing. Singing. I'm singing a song. What are you doing? I'm singing a song. So I'm going to teach you, should I teach one? And we'll do it together? Okay, so I have not worked with Zoom because I'm working in old school right now and I'm actually not teaching anymore. I'm just writing. So this is a good check for me. So let's do this. Say the word, repeat after me. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? 3, 4.
What are you doing?
And then we'll go to this. Yes. What are you doing? Sit. What are you doing? Sit. Try that part. What are you doing? And then, so 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sit. 1, 3, 4. Sitting. 2, 3, 4. What are you doing? 2, 3, 4. Sitting. That kind of thing.
Richard, I have an idea.
Please.
One of the challenges here is the lag, right?
Yeah.
So if you are, nod your head if you're teaching on Zoom these days, everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
So the lag, in a way, we could learn this better from you the way you first presented it. Do people agree? The way you first presented it with us on mute.
Okay.
So simply do it again with us on mute, and we're going to do our best to follow you, I think. Right?
I have an additional suggestion. I think for your purposes, it might be better to have your role and the student's role be different. So if you say, what are you doing? And then they copy, what are you doing? But then it's your turn, you say sit, and they say sitting. And you say, then you say, you know, I'm sitting on the bench. And then they say, so they're the ones, so because sit isn't anything.
Right, it's just a beginning. I'm
Yeah, I
trying
mean,
to get,
it's the prompt. So it makes sense for you to give them the prompt, and then they change it to the ing form, and then you give them a context for it.
Okay. I'll do that. Let's try this then. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you doing? Sit. 2, 3, 4. Sitting. Now, when I go like this, I want you to do sitting. And then that's what I'm hearing from you, Robin. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you doing? Sit.
Sitting.
What are you doing? We're sitting on a bench. And we'll all say we're sitting on a bench. Is that making sense? Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, they know that part.
Right.
It's going to have to be super predictable for us, almost like Zumba instructors. You know, they do kind of a 1, 2, or we know exactly the pattern, and it doesn't change much.
Right.
So you know, you're testing a written chant for a face-to-face context,
right?
A Zoom setting, and it's a little tricky.
It's a little tricky.
So one thing you could do is just, I'm blanking on a bench, and I'm singing on a bench. I'm, you know,
right. Exactly.
Flying on a bench. I mean, that might
always keep that part there. Okay.
Does any?
Yeah, that's neat. So that's the kind of thing you know, that's a mini study. Go ahead. Was that you, Doug? Somebody.
Yeah, I was just asking, does anybody know if the lag time is the same for everybody?
I would bet it's not.
I know.
Too predictable.
It is not. It depends on the bandwidth and what kind of machine you have.
And from China, it seems to be take a lot longer.
Oh, okay.
They were supposedly working on that to improve it, but haven't seen that yet.
Apparently, there's software that lets you do this jam kazam, but I haven't actually worked with it. But all my musician friends are getting all excited about jam kazam, but I don't know anything how it works.
We'll check that. Stick that in the chat.
The reason I ask is because I usually use this metronome.
Yeah.
To get that 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
If everybody's lag time was the same, then that would help keep that 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. I had the metronome set up for that as well. I first wanted to see. Can you hear that with rhythm?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Sit.
Sit.
Sitting.
Sit.
We're sitting on a bench.
Sitting on
what
a
are
bench.
you doing?
What are you doing?
Sit.
Sitting.
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 We're sitting on a bench. We're sitting on a bench. Yeah, so you're right. I think the metronome, which I did have set up but didn't use.
That's wild to see you moving a metronome that looks like it's gonna break if you keep doing that. It's hilarious. So Richard, that was awesome. And I think what we're learning is, you know, the more I think very little orchestration of like when we're together and when you're alone.
Right.
Like, just learn this chant with me.
Right.
And
right.
I
Again,
I do like the sit, by the way. I'm finding a purpose for it, which is it exposes the bass form.
Yes, it does.
So
it's
that's
crucial
cool.
because this is scaffolded, as you would imagine, in a written way. I was just curious at what it sounded like because I'm teaching it to them via YouTube video where the teachers are learning it through my YouTube video, and then they'll teach it to the students.
Great. So any final comments for Richard?
It reminds me of square dancing or the hokey pokey or something like that. So what the caller for a square dance or hokey pokey will do is you say, that's what it's all about. Your head, we put your head in. So you just shout out what the next thing is that you do. So that's your role, or that's the teacher's role, and then the students just go ahead and riff on whatever you came up with.
Right, because the other goal is the students will use this pattern in groups to create their own chants with the base form of verbs that they already are familiar with.
That's right. Great.
Anyway, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Hey, visual applause for Richard. There we go. Awesome. Hey, number 2 up, we got Joan. Joan's in the house.
Okay, so I was working on something from a common kids chant, and I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with "Hello, my name is Joe." Does anyone know that kids chant? I'm just looking to see if anyone raised their hands and stuff like that. So the chant goes like this, and then I'll share the words. Hello, my name is Joe. I have a wife and 3 kids, and I work at a button factory. One day, my boss said to me, "Hey, Joe, are you busy?" I said, "No. Push this button with your right hand." And then you repeat, "Hello, my name is Joe. I have a wife and 3 kids, and I work in a button factory. One day, my boss said to me, 'Hey, Joe, are you busy?' I said, 'No. Push this button with your left hand.'" All right. And then it just builds right foot, left foot. In the video, you would have to do like the head or something like that, maybe the tongue and the lips or something. So it just builds up, and it's, it's movement, and you're trying to keep the rhythm. But do I have can I share or?
Sure. I think you do have the power.
Right. Okay, so I was trying to get all those little things in there, but anyways, I thought you could expand this. So it does sound very much like regular conversation, like I say, "Hello, my name is Joan," right? So you could have students put in their own names, put in their own information. So I thought, and you could use it with different levels. So with your beginners, you might just go around a room and everyone's snapping and everyone says, "Hello, my name is Joan."
Mm-hmm.
"Hello, my name is Amy."
Mm-hmm.
"Hello." So with beginners, you might just do one thing at a time.
Yep.
With your more advanced, then you would just take, kind of scaffold that whole chant with them, and they can put stuff in. So I thought for me, if you did the whole thing, I would say, "Hello, my name is Joan. I have a husband and 4 pets, and I work in a community college. One day, my boss said to me, 'Hey, Joan, are you busy?' I said, 'No. Write these lessons for your students.'" So I thought that, they could, they're talking about their work, and then they could talk about, what something they do. So if I have Amy, my student Amy, she could go, "Hello, my name is Amy. I have a husband and a son, and I stay at home. One day, I said to myself, 'Hey, Amy, are you busy?' I said, 'No. Sweep the floor with the broom.'"
Neat.
So,
I like this. I could really see this evolving over a semester, like with each part being its own mini chant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts on that for Joan?
Yeah, and each person would then end the semester with their own chant about what they do.
Yes.
Jennifer, that reminds me of the thing you worked out, like in the morning I wake up at this time, and Jennifer presented this for my class, but you could have that all in a chant for yourself. And the other thing I noticed was that when you were telling me what the kids chant was, it had very distorted rhythm. It was very syllable timed and strange. When you were doing the chant that you have right here, it was a very, very appropriate rhythm, and you found the main stress, and it seemed to work much better than when you were doing the original chant.
Okay.
Well, it had a syncopation in it that was kind of cool, but it was nice how it shifted into more natural rhythm when you adapted it.
Yeah. So that's what we want, is the more natural. Mm-hmm.
I like your color vowels there.
Thanks.
I'd love to see some underlines. That would be cool.
Yeah, I can put in underlines. What I struggle with is, how many stresses do I have in this sentence right here? I have no idea. I mess up stress. One day, my boss said to me, "Hey, Joe, are you busy?" I said, "No."
Yeah, that's a challenging line. One day, say it again.
One day, said to me, hey, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. Is there 6? Can you have 6 stresses
Well,
in
it's probably
one
really,
sentence?
yeah, it's like 2 lines really.
Yeah, it's more
Okay.
than one thought group.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, all
Good.
right.
Can we finish up with any final tips for Joan? Just anything you would then also think about in this chant. This is neat, Joan.
Thank you.
You know, and I think I love your idea of definitely breaking it into small parts, and then it accumulates, and suddenly it's this whole long piece by the end of the term or the end of the course, right?
Yeah, and it's just basic introducing yourself and telling a little story, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
And if this is this basically like a folk, like this is of the folk, this exists out there, kids learn this?
Yeah,
Yes, I used it. Okay, someone's used it. I used it when I was teaching preschool. We would just, it's just kind of, and it's, the kids are like, they're moving their hands, they're moving their legs, they're moving their heads. And so it's teaching to be able to move everything and sing and keep rhythm. And so, yeah, I was using this like 20 years ago.
Cool.
You can go on YouTube. Not everyone sings it the way I do. I like it better the way I sing it, but you can find these on YouTube. So,
Suzanne, you had a thought there?
Oh, I just posted the link to just the words from a site that I just quickly looked up.
Cool. Yeah, and I think playing some version of it to show that this is a thing. Like if they ever hear it, now they can sing along, and knowing, like if I were to be again, I always imagine myself like if I were learning Russian or whatever, and then I realize that what I just learned preps me to recognize this out in society. I send my kid off to camp and they come home with this and I'll know that. So just seeing some examples of that would be very exciting to the learner. Neat stuff. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing this. Everyone, a little applause. Got some great ideas here. I love piggybacking on existing children's chants. Neat stuff. Hey, now.
Okay, and may I perform with my slides?
Sure.
Okay.
You're the boss. You're in charge.
Okay, here. It's challenging. Oh. Just a moment. Come on. Okay, can I see my screen?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, so, and I made a kind of, this is not tongue twister, but kind of lip muscle twister or training thing. And last week I asked about OW sound, and these are very, very, for us Japanese people, and it's always nightmare. They are always nightmare. So I made it just for fun or just for practice. Okay, listen to me. Yellow hours like powdery snow. Oh, sorry, one more time. Oh. Okay, 3, 8, 4. Yellow hours like powdery snow, but brownish grows like showy cloud. Ow, oh, ow, oh, ow, oh. Brown cow, ow. Rosebud, oh. How do I know? Show me now. Sounds are flowing. I'm just frowning. Ow, oh, ow. Oh, ow, oh. Thank you.
I love this. This is super fun. So I remember this piggybacks on that question you raised at Ask the Lucas last week, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. And you asked me in a message, I think on Facebook.
Yeah.
No, this is great. But I also like the ow, oh, ow, oh, ow, oh. That's great.
Yes, for kids, just our chorus, that part, just ow, oh, ow, ow, oh, ow. And middle age, they can say, how do I know? Show me now. And after that, they can the whole thing. And one big problem is here. And the first was yellow. Yellow is a red pepper yellow. So one of the words and OW sound O. And this is an adjective for hours.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure that I would highlight the OW in yellow just because it's so much. I don't know what others think about that.
Yeah. So I didn't underline.
Right.
Yeah.
But it still visually stands out a lot. And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
say
yeah.
hello,
So-
owls like powdery snow. Yeah.
Mm,
Any this is, by the way, Shirley's in the house. I just want to mention Shirley's here, and this gets at what she calls she coined it, called the snowplow problem.
Right. I'm sorry I'm late. We went out to get a Christmas tree and I came back and started putting stuff and I just totally lost track of the time. I meant to be here at 5.
Can you just tell us briefly your story, Shirley, how you came up with that? The snow.
I don't even remember. I was looking at the two words and I thought, how in the world does anybody know that it's snowplow and not snowplow, or snowplow and or snowplow? And then, so I immediately, of course, texted or called Karen, and I said, "Look at this. How?" And then I thought that the interesting thing was, I thought, how do people know? And it's probably, somebody said there's a snowplow, and the kid learns the word, a native speaker kid, I'm thinking, and then they see it written, and it doesn't cause a problem because they already know that it's pronounced snowplow. But somebody looking at it who's never heard the word before, there's absolutely no clue what it should be. So then I called Karen, and what was the next step? She called me. No, then I called her again, and I said, look what happens if you take SNOW, which is a rose word, and you remove the S.
Yeah.
And this rose word becomes a brown word, now. And if you take the word plow, which is a brown word, and remove the P, suddenly it becomes a rose word, low. So then about 5 minutes later, Karen calls me back and says, look what Juan noticed. If you take now, N-O-W, and switch it around to W-O-N, it becomes, no, wait a minute, O-W-N, it becomes own. And if you take, what was the other one? Oh, if you take,
owl, then you take low and it becomes owl.
and it becomes owl.
I'm moving it to the end.
Went a little wacko with that idea of
Wacko.
all
Hey.
the things that OW can do.
Yeah. Joan has a great idea. She says maybe replace the word yellow with something not brown or rose, right? That way you don't have to acknowledge it. And you have a lot of other words in here now that are brown and rose.
How about an auburn owl?
An auburn owl.
There's a snowy owl. It's a real thing, a snowy.
Oh my gosh, that's right, a snowy owl.
Snowy owl.
Oh, I like that. Snowy
It's a beautiful solution. Nice.
Snowy hours are like the powdery snow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then you have.
Thank you.
Yep. Yay. Beautiful. I think we've just had our little +1 on Now's chant. Thank you, Now. Little visual applause, everybody. There we go. We can take a breath. All right. I'm going to move along to Gabi, and I've been remiss in queuing Liz's video, so I'm working on that. Okay. But it's good. Our timing is doing pretty well, and we're going to spend a few minutes with Gabi.
Okay, let's just dive into it. I'm going to demonstrate it. Ready? Here we are. A, O, A, O, A, O, A. Now you please. A, O, A, O, A, O, A. With your hands. A, O, A, O, A, O, A. Let's try this. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey. Let's try this now. I, O, I, O, I, O, I. Now you. I, O, I, O, I, O, I. Let's try this. Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi. Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi. Now let's try both readings. Let's do this one first. Ready? Okay. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey. Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi. One more time. Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi. Now let's try to actually greet people around. So now we're going to use our one hand and we're going to see people around. Ready? Okay, here we go. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey. Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Hi. Okay, this is it. Thank you.
That's neat, Gabi. We could pass that around with our numbers. You know, that's the next step is we've practiced so much together that now we're ready for some individual practice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, send the love over there in the chat's a great place to do it. So applause, applause, applause. Nicely done. I'd like to take a moment to share what Liz sent along, and I'm hoping this is going to work. One second here. She sent along a okay, now I'm lost. Here we go. She sent along a video that's straight from Zoom. So we're going to see if it's cued the right way. And if it's not, then I'll work some more to get it cued. But here we go. She adapted this from a textbook, and this is a focus on red and gray from Liz Bigler, who's, you know, traveling the continent in her own safe way. So here we go.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Liz, reporting from a hotel room in New York City, where I've been for, well, anyway, I was here today. And it's really interesting to explore the city without all the crush of humanity and all the tourists all over the place. And as a result of that, the hotels are a lot cheaper than normally. So I'm staying at sort of a swanky hotel that's, you know, a fraction of what it normally costs. So anyway, I am heading back to Georgia tomorrow. That's why I can't be at the meeting, but I wanted to share something that isn't really a chant, but this is with a Chinese student of mine, adult student, and we have been working on the difference between red and gray sounds. So I just sort of like off the cuff, I said, okay, so let's go through. We had, you know, he had done these sentences, read them out loud. And then I said, okay, so what are all the red sounds in this? And he identified them. And as he said them, I underlined them with the Zoom tool. This was a Zoom call, and you know, you can use the annotation thing. And so I underlined them as he said them. And as he did that, I realized that he was flooding, you know, but he was also, he wasn't just looking at the words, he had to kind of feel them out, sound them out in his mind to identify which ones were the red ones. So let me play this. Make sure I can share the sound.
Matching. Right.
Sorry. Oh, okay. So at this point, we've already gone through. I didn't think to record it until we were pretty far into it. So we're down here. I think we're just here. And I got a little app on my phone that's called Metronome. It's just a metronome, and you know, you can adjust the speed of it. But I just held it so he could hear the beat. And I said, this was after we identified all the ones. I said, okay, now go through and say each one of these. And each time that there's a beat, I want you to say one of them. So it started out kind of easy because most of these are one syllable words. Let, mel, letter, said, led, them. Okay, letter is 2 syllables, but most of these are 1 syllable. But as we got down here, it started to be more than 1 syllable. Okay, so let me just play what happened.
Adding, wedding, tempted, rest, rest, senator, president, actress.
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm stopping it for a second because I want you to be aware that that's Zoom. Zoom, you know, when it hears a voice, it sounds like it wasn't a constant beat, but it was for him. The recording doesn't sound like that, but he could hear the constant beat. I think. You didn't keep the beat exactly, but it was pretty good. And the sounds were good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pause here because I think that's enough for us to discuss, and then Liz can join us another time. But what do you think so far? There's some neat stuff going on here. I think these sentences came from an exercise, right? First, I want to make sure, can everybody hear me? Oh yeah, you can hear me.
yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe I was talking to this, to the wall. So I think what she was doing was taking these sentences from a lesson. Any thoughts about the metronome that we could make like one little change to make it a little easier to be sure we are all hearing the same beat? My daughter takes violin classes remotely, and her teacher had us download the metronome app. And so she plays it on her side. Right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Right. So that way, all the sound is coming from one source rather than trying to send it across. And I think that's just the one tweak that came to my mind that would make it even more, then you really do know that he's hearing the beat and speaking with the beat.
So your daughter uses it on her side. So the student should have the metronome playing on their side.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. Of course, that means that they have enough mastery of it, but he had enough mastery to work with it through Zoom. So it'd be even better in his case. I mean, in this case, it's just value added that I don't think he gains any support by having Liz have it on her side. Right. So now in the world of apps, it's like, download this app. Here's the free metronome. Yeah. Yeah. And now we're getting a real metronome because I'm tired of her stealing my phone for the lesson. But it's just to say the metronomes are great. How many of you have some kind of metronome, either a real one or a virtual one? Yeah, I find them pretty handy. I tend to, I keep the beat with my snapping, but if that's not easy, certainly a metronome is great help. I think that's a good one. Good. Any other thoughts on this set of, it's not exactly a chant, like she said, it's flooding, right? It's choosing words of all one feature, in this case, red syllables.
But I like the idea of when you're flooding to do it by the beat instead of just, senator, president, you want to have senator, president, like that. And so the one syllable words, the two syllable words, the three syllable words, they all fit into the same box.
Yeah, great. A couple of minutes ago, Dawn asked, she's no longer here, but she'll hear the answer. Will this be recorded? How can I get it? I just want to mention, we record all of our Fridays at 5, and those are posted on our playlist of Fridays at 5. So if you subscribe to our channel, you'll get a little notification that has been posted. And I tend to post it within 24 hours. So that's just to know, some of you may need to leave early, and that's fine too. So big thanks to Liz. She's going to be watching this, and we could do our little woo jazz hands. Thank you. I'd like to round things out with a conversation that started yesterday afternoon and made its way to our chants workshop. And before I say that or continue, I'll just thank everybody who signed up today. It was a very last minute thing, kind of an inspiration. We'd love to know if you would like to do something like this again. I do like that kind of real workshop and critique kind of setting where we can just find that one little change that makes things even better, so that's been exciting today. And so Jennifer's going to round things out because that's exactly what we did with her chant yesterday. And it started a couple weeks ago, didn't it, Jennifer, with a student?
Actually, it started last spring, I guess it was, in Dr. Barr's teaching pronunciation class. When I was working with my tutee for the project for that class. And I was helping her prepare for her oral interview for her master's degree. And so I was working on chunks and phrases. And of course, now my cat wants to leave that room. So I was working on chunks and phrases that she was going to be able to just pull on during the interview. And so we started working a lot on hesitation markers, those little fillers that you need when you're thinking, and phrases that she could say when she was processing because she's not a non-native speaker. And so when she was processing the questions or trying to formulate a point. And so that's where it started. And then this fall, I brought it out and polished it up a little bit for my very advanced pronunciation class, because that came up in a class. And so I did this for them for the next time. And so then I showed it to Karen when we were talking about this Friday at 5, and I'll let her take it from there.
Well, I think all I can say from there is that I then took it off to the chants workshop, and several of you were in the room last night. We looked at Jennifer's chant, and what we did is we treated it like Carolyn Graham's chants. Like when you open up jazz chants, anybody have seen jazz chants or ever? Okay. So, and I have a copy over here that someday I'm going to give away. So I got to do that. But when you look at those on paper, you got to remember that these are first and foremost, they start orally and then they're written down. And how you write them down is critical, and then there's lots of decisions about, are you going to do it 4 beats per line or 2 beats per line? How do you represent the empty beats, that kind of stuff. And then with the color vowel markup, there's that too, exactly what do you underline, which words do you do, so forth. And so we treated it that way, like, what kind of sense will we make of this written chant? Because I think Jennifer sent it to me, and I think she said it once. And so of course that didn't stick because it's ephemeral. So we took it almost with, sort of a fresh gaze, and sent it off into groups, and everybody found a slightly different way to make sense of it. And then they were invited to make any kind of tweaks that they made. So what we're going to do now is Jennifer's going to present it the original way. This is hard.
I'm going to do it the way that it's polished form.
Oh, okay.
From the chant group. I added one little word on top of it, but
and this would have been tricky if she had pulled that off, because you'd have to unremember the change, right? Which is
right.
If it's a good change, the change is almost impossible to to forget. So good, Jennifer. So it's going to come all the way around. We spent time with it last night, and now it's back to you.
Yeah. So my caveat is, this is the one thing that I was born without rhythm. So all bear with me. So I'm just going to do the whole thing, and then I'll sort of show you where it started and you'll see how it evolved into what it is now. So, all right. So bear with me. Okay. How do I want to say this? How do I want to say this? That's a good question. Gosh, that's a hard one. Well, let me see. Let me think how I want to say this. Let me think how I want to say this. As a matter of fact, what I'm trying to say is, that's a good point. How do I want to say this? How do I want to say this? The thing is, it's sort of, let's put it this way. So that's it. So it was a lot of those fillers, and we talked about them, and they're all different kinds of things. Word fillers. Let me share my screen.
I want to mention, this reminds me a little bit of Joan's chant, in the sense that, everyone, can't you imagine this being that they learn each of these little chunks separately through the semester, throughout the course, and they get stacked up, and then suddenly there's so many of them stacked up that it breaks out into this whole chant.
Right. So we had gone over a list of them and talked about when, to use different ones, and the fact that sometimes it's a phrase, sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's just a sound. And we talked about the different sounds in their first language that they use when they're trying to think of what to say, and try to figure out maybe why, you know, in English, we always go to that mustard sound, whereas in Spanish, they go to the A sound. And so that was an interesting conversation. So this is the hesitation chant is what I call it. And this is its form as I did it just now. This is what came out of the workshop improvements. And I think they're all marvelous. And I liked how they have the different quests, you know, this is different. And they've reordered some things. So this is the final thing. This is the way it was for my students. And you can see it, each stanza began with the same question. And so maybe if I could come up with a third one, so each one would be different. And then they just reordered, last night in the workshop, they just reordered some of these phrases. And I think the rhythm does work a little bit better there. And I always try to just do my hand on the stressed beat, but once I get into it, I'm just doing this all the time. So I apologize for that. And this was the original chant that my tutee and I came up with. And it was a very, very simple one with a lot of repetition. Because again, we were working on these chunks, making them sticky. And these were phrases that she had problems with because of certain sounds. And that's why they got chosen. So, and you can see it was mostly directed at things that she could say to the people who were interviewing her. So
a couple of thoughts. I wanted to mention, now just mentioned that she noticed that the fillers themselves also have rhythms or beats, and that's awesome. You like that now? Yeah. The other thing I was thinking was, and you start to become really aware of how much you do that. My thought was that it's like the un-Toastmasters chant, you know? So Toastmasters sits out there and tries to drill it out of us that we're not supposed to do that. And of course, if it's a formal speech, it's different. But I think, you know, that's so prescriptive and it's so intimidating. We need to remind our students that that really is a strategy for holding the floor.
Yes.
And we use it all the time.
It's also good for helping your listener process. So it's like having a pause after thought groups, because it allows because these pauses and hesitation markers happen at constituent boundaries. So that's why the listener knows that it's time to, okay, what have they just said? This gives me time to figure out what this chunk is, and now I'm ready for the next for the I don't know, the predicate or something.
Yeah. So I was talking at the very beginning before we got started with the meeting today that my students are preparing Pecha Kucha presentations, and this is actually one of the preparations for when they do it live, because they do it with minimal, you know, they're allowed one note card with a few notes on it, and that's a lot to remember what you want to say. And so we were using some of these as, you know, things that you can add in there if you forget what you want to say, and that it's perfectly okay. And we watched videos of famous people and, you know, being interviewed, and the fact that, you know, even the most articulate native speaker uses these.
I'm just putting that in the chat in case that term is new for anybody. Pecha Kucha. It's a really nice kind of, if anybody's ever done, you know, haiku or anything that limits the range, you can find that's very freeing because there's a lot of room for creativity in there.
And can I ask now, can you say that? Because there's so much debate about the proper way to say it. Say it again. Pecha Kucha.
That took my breath away.
What sounds better, Pecha Kucha or Pecha Kucha?
So we have a little bit of pitch, and Pecha Kucha, do da do 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 Pecha Kucha.
That third syllable almost sounds like a voiceless vowel.
It is. It's a voiceless vowel because
Thank
it's a
you.
view
Yeah.
between two voiceless consonants. That's the rule.
Yes, yes.
That was cool.
Pecha,
Everybody say it. Say it like now. Tell it for us again. Say it.
Okay. Pecha, kucha. 1, 2. Pecha,
Pecha,
kucha. Yes.
Pecha,
Pecha, kucha.
Good. But then say it naturally, just one time.
Pecha, kucha.
Isn't that cool? That was
Yeah.
all right. It made my day.
Yeah. There's a big debate whether it's pacha or peta kucha.
That's fabulous. Hey, I want to.
So I want to say one thing. And if you say the pecha, kucha, we sound like messy, meaning messy. Mecha-kucha, yeah. So pecha-kucha is a kind of constant rhythm, pecha-kucha, ta-ta-ta-ta. But pa-pa-pa sounds like mecha-kucha means messy in Japanese. Okay. But it's very careful. Yeah.
We are humbled.
Great.
That is neat.
We are.
Hey, I want to share with everybody. This has been super fun, first of all, and I want to thank again our presenters for presenting. Shall we do this again? Thumbs up if that's a yes someday, you know, maybe twice a year, have like a little festival. We have our 2021 calendar up. It's been a huge project, but I wanted to just show you so you know where to find it. And I'll share it here too. But if you go to our website under training, you will now see that our 2021 training and events calendar is here, and you can download the whole darn thing. It's been beautifully laid out by Jennifer. And I want level 2 people to know that we have now a money-saving level 2 registration bundle in our shop. And I did not realize how brilliant an idea it was until I realized not only is it a discount on all 3 core classes for those who are fresh out of basics, you know, for the rest of you, I'm coming up with another plan, but you know, wait for it. But if you're fresh out of basics, you can take all 3 core workshops. That's spelling exploration, color vowel yoga, and rhythms and chants with a 20% discount on registration by paying all upfront directly through our shop. And then what's super cool is that you don't have to pay any of the Eventbrite fees that they charge both me and you. So that's pretty swift. So if you're, I know I'm talking to people who have already gone through it, so I can see the bitterness on your faces, but you can tell other people. And if you've been to one, but not the other 2 cores, or 2 of the cores, but not all 3, we're gonna be putting together other bundles. It's been kind of an epiphany to do this through the shop. So just keep an eye on all that. We'll be sending out a holiday newsletter with more news, but that is there for you. I'm now putting in the chat right now our calendar, so you will have the whole darn thing with all of our brand new electives up. Did that get to you? There it is. We've got all kinds of great electives, including a reader's theater workshop coming up. We've got vocabulary. We've got one on phonological awareness that's going to be taught by Dr. Barr. You know, lots of fun coming up in 2021. It is the first time we've had our entire calendar planned out a year in advance. And I just want to thank Jennifer right now. So if you feel like things are working with ALTS and Color Vowel, thank Jennifer. Woohoo. All right. Any final comments before we close down our final year session for 2020?
And can I say one more thing that's exciting, and they'll see it in the newsletter, but we will be offering Saturday classes. So that's I think that's kind of exciting.
That's exciting. Okay. Any closing comments for the session or the year?
Wow, what a year. I've really enjoyed having being able to meet people not in person, I guess, because I miss interacting, you know.
It's been a big year for being online with us. We weren't doing this a year ago, and it's because of pandemic that we've done this. And so I'm really grateful to see all of you every week. It's astounding. You know, people choose to spend an hour with us on a Friday afternoon after a week of being on Zoom, preceded by 32 other weeks of being on Zoom. So I'm really grateful. Yeah. So have a wonderful break, a great holiday. We'll be back after the holidays, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye.
holidays.
Bye.
Take care.
Happy holiday.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.